Hi, my name is Michael. I'm with Audio Architects, and I'm going to show you how to use the voice lift system in your classroom. This particular system is a TeachLogic Maxim 3, but this may also apply to the TeachLogic Forum 232 model that you have. So let's get started. We're going to go over the equipment here. And the first thing that I want to show you is the IR sensor puck. So this lives in the ceiling. It is what your wireless microphones connect to in your classroom. There really isn't anything to do with this, so this will be installed upside down on your ceiling. The only thing to look for, that we may have you look for if something's not working, is this little green LED on the front or on the side here. So if this is not lit up, that means that the cable running through the wall is disconnected somewhere, potentially also on the back of the receiver here, or the puck has failed for some reason. So that's something that we will look for if something is not working. Moving on, we have your wireless charging base. So that is this guy. It may not look exactly like this one here, but the same concept applies to the other bases. So there are a couple docking spots on top for various microphones. Specifically, it has room for 2 pendant microphones as well as 1 handheld microphone. And there are LEDs on the front of the unit. They're either up top or they're going to be lower on the base here. That indicate whether a microphone is correctly docked and then whether it's charging or if it is ready to go. So if you don't have a light on, the microphone is either not seated correctly or not in the slot. If the light is red, that means the microphone is charging. And if it's green, it's fully charged and you're ready to go. So I'm going to take these 2 microphones out of the base here just so you can see from the top what that guy looks like. So just make sure to put the right microphone into the right shaped holes. So those teachers that work with little kids are familiar with this concept. So the handheld microphone simply sets in the base like that. It's connected and it's charging. So easy peasy there. The pendant microphone's a little trickier. So in the base on this one, there is a mini USB connection, or a micro USB connection, excuse me. So that has a receiver port in the bottom of the base here. So if you simply just set the microphone in like that, you can see the LED didn't turn on. It is not connected, it is not charging, so the microphone will eventually drain out. So all you have to do is give it a little wiggle and a little press if it's not lined up quite right, and then you'll get the LED to turn on, and you know you have the microphone correctly seated in the base. So let's go over the pendant microphone. So that's this little guy here. So this microphone, the main button and the main thing that you're going to interact with is the large button on the front. So if you have no lights on this guy, that means it's off. If we press and hold on it for a few seconds, it'll cycle through a couple colors. And when you have a solid light on it, that means that it is turned on and it is ready to go. So, and actually I can hear it going through the speaker through the system because I have everything turned on. If we press and hold on it again, you will turn the unit off and that light will go off. If you give it just a single tap like that, the microphone is now muted. So this is great if you're trying to have a private conversation with a student or a phone call, or if you need to sneak out in the hall real quick, you can tap it once to mute yourself and tap it again to unmute it. So on the side of the microphone, there is a little volume slider. So this is a adjustment for the actual microphone element in the pendant microphone here. For 99% of cases, leave it in the normal position. That is exactly where it needs to be. And if you are a speaker or a teacher with a different voice, either really loud or really soft, we may have to make adjustments to the system somewhere else, or with the switch. But for the most part, leave it on the normal setting. On this side of the microphone, there is an aux port and another control here. So this aux port is actually really handy. So this allows you to take a phone or a tablet or anything that has a headphone out and plug it right into here, and that will take your device and its audio and port it through the microphone to the IR puck through the system over your speakers. So again, this is great if you're walking around the room, you have your phone in your hand and you're controlling things, but you want it to come through the speakers in the room. You can plug that directly into here and it will pass through the system and come out the speakers. If you need to raise or lower the volume on whatever device you have here, this little knob next to the port here, you can use to flick up or flick down, and that will increase or decrease the volume for that connected source. The other thing you can do is and actually I'm going to move the receiver over here so you can see what's happening, but on the receiver, on the power light, if we tap the button, so in the center here it says priority. If we tap that button, you can see that the light on the receiver here, the amplifier, starts flashing purple. So that means that the microphone is claiming priority over all the other audio sources in the room. So that will allow you to drop the volume of everything. And then if we tap the button again, then you'll be back to blue and your receiver is functioning normally, and your audio will pass through as normal from your outside connected devices. So just to give an example, I am going to play some music through my computer, which I have plugged in here. And you may not be able to hear it through the microphone that I'm wearing right now, but that's coming through at a pretty average or pretty moderate volume. And if we tap the priority, the volume for my computer is dropped way down, but this volume on the microphone has stayed up. So that's how you can quickly drop the volume of your computer. Or if you have a movie going on, you need to talk to your kids, you can tap that once to get that priority mode to turn on. And then when you want to go back to normal, you're done speaking, you can tap that button again. And that will raise your source up back to normal volume. And unfortunately, we caught just the end of the song here, so that may not have been super apparent as well as with the microphone I'm wearing, but you'll have to take my word for it. That's how that guy works. So when you're done with it, you can take it and simply dock the microphone back in the base, and you're good to go. And it will turn itself off, start charging, all that good stuff. So the last thing we need to go over is the actual receiver amplifier here. So there is a power button on the side. So if it is blue, that means that the unit is on and functioning normally. If it is flashing purple, like we just showed with the priority mode, that indicates that that mode is on. So your sources are going to be dropped down and your microphone is going to be at a normal level. If it is amber or orange, that means that it is in a low power standby mode. But as soon as you start to talk through your microphone, the system will wake up. This will turn blue again, and you'll be good to go. If it is red, and actually if I tap on the button here, it will turn into a dark red on that button to indicate that the system is actually off. So at this point, you won't be able to just talk in your microphone. You'll wake it up. To wake it up, you'll have to come over here and press the power button to turn it back on, and then things will be working normally again. So if you don't see a power light on behind the button here, that means that the unit is either unplugged from the wall or there's a connection on the back of the unit that's been unplugged. So those are your two easy places to check to see if something's wrong. So moving across here, we have two volume controls. So these are for your microphone. So you can have two microphones functioning in a room. So for instance, right now, the pendant microphone is paired to channel A. So if I turn this guy on, you'll actually see a little green LED that turns on next to this volume control. So if I'm talking into this microphone, check 1, 2, and I go ahead and turn this down, now my voice is not passing through the system, and if I turn this volume control back up, check 1, 2, 1, 2, check, we can hear my voice coming through the microphone, coming through, going into the microphone, going through the speaker. So I'm going to turn that guy off. Oop, I muted it. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and dock it. That way it will be off. And then we will grab the handheld microphone. So if I turn this guy on, you'll actually see that there's a little green light by this second volume knob. So if I tap on this microphone and turn it up, and you can see I'm turning up the B channel, and if I turn that back down, that will eventually turn this microphone all the way off or not pass enough volume through to the speakers to hear anything. So, and I'm going to turn it back up into a normal range. There we go. And And I'll turn that off, and you'll see that little green LED turn off via the volume knob there. The next couple white knobs here across the front are different source volumes. So you have the ability to, like I said, to plug in a computer, a DVD player, a CD player, media player, MP3 player, whatever you have to connect to the unit that you want to have that device audio come through the speakers in your room. So there are some connections on the back of the unit we'll look at in a second, but that's how you control the volume. So again, if I play my computer here, oops, let's get to an actual song. There we go. And if we look on the front, there is a computer knob here. That just happens to be where I have my computer plugged in. If we turn it all the way down, that stops my computer audio from passing through the ceiling speakers in the room. And then if I gotta find the right one. Here it is. We turn that one back up. I turn it way up. You hear it gets loud through the speaker again. So that is how you control the volume for whatever sources you are trying to play through the speakers in your room. The last knob on the end here is the lesson capture knob, and it's an output. So there is an 1/8 inch output on the bottom here. You could run that to a recorder or to your computer for recording, and then whatever you hear through the speakers in your room is also going to come out of this jack. So, and then you can use the red knob here to adjust how loud the output is that is going to your recorder or to your computer. So this would be great for doing a, well, as it's appropriately named, a lesson capture, or if you were doing a live stream, you could potentially run this into a computer. You may need an adapter somewhere in there, but you could run this to your computer, so you can use these microphones or some other source in your room to have your voice and media really well in high quality over your live stream or your session. So that is the front panel and how this guy works. We'll spin it around. We'll take a quick look at the back and the connections on the back, just so you know what's going on. There is the power plug right here. So again, if you don't have a light on the power button on the front of this guy, this will be the connection to check. These two ports here are for your sensor or sensors that you have in your room. So if you have a large room, you may have more than one of these IR sensors available and working. These next bunch of ports over through here are your different inputs for different media sources. So these are for the other white knobs that are on the front here. There are a couple EQ adjustments and other tonality adjustments here that most of the time we're going to leave these straight up and down. There's really no adjustments to be made that really need to happen for most typical classrooms. There's not enough granularity here for that. And then we have some other random connections on the end here which tie into, say, the paging system or a control system. So you may see some things connected here, or you may not. Depends on the exact install and how the school has things working. And then your blue connectors on the end are actually the connections that go from this unit up to the ceiling speakers in your room. So that is the wiring for that. And again, you might have one, you might have two, you might have 4 speakers in your room depending on the size of your room. So one thing I do want to cover real quick is a quick troubleshooting tip, which is if you have your audio intermittently cutting out, or you have static or noise on your, specifically from your microphone. So these guys use IR technology or infrared light. Which another big source of infrared light is actually the sun. So if you have your windows open on a nice sunny summer day or winter day as it is around here sometimes, you will get that sunlight to interfere with the IR pucks. So it basically gets flooded by the amount of infrared light coming from the sun through your windows, and it can make the microphone cut out. So you can try closing the blinds on your windows. That may help if you have, again, static or dropouts from your either one of your microphones here. So that about covers everything. I hope this was informational and helpful. And if you need any help, reach out to your IT department and we'll get involved if we need to do further troubleshooting or training from that point. So awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great day.